Hello and welcome back to Developer Updates. This is the second developer update for October 4th. The first thing I'd like to cover is I added some gamification and prizes. So once you're on the teacher dashboard, you're going to go down here. As you can see, here are the various prizes, things that you can do with prizes. You can create a prize here, so you're going to enter a name. For example, that would be get 3 points of extra credit. And you'll add a cost, so this one's going to be 2 tickets. Students will be getting tickets whenever they're completing their checks, so that they can get up to 5 tickets if they do it on time, and they get a good grade the first time through. Otherwise, there's various tiers of tickets, and I'll be editing that, so watch out for that. I'll make sure to keep you informed on that. Once you have a prize, though, you do have to add it to a class, so get 3 points of extra credit. Add Chem 101 is a class I have. Once it's added to the class, your students are able to find it. So let me go to the student account I have. They'll go to their class, so I have Chem 101, and they can see now under tickets and prizes, they can see how many tickets they have. So I have 0 for this class, and then they can see all of this, and they'll click buy. Right now I don't have enough tickets, so of course it won't let me buy it. And then you will get notified in one of 2 ways. So if I go back to the teacher dashboard, the first way, which is the most reliable and the one I recommend using, and I'll explain why in a second, is this prize feed here. It will show the student who bought what prize every single time. So if Theo buys, the 1 point of extra credit 16 times, it'll show up in your prize feed 16 times. The other way that you can see it is in your normal class feed. As you can see here, get 1 point of extra credit was bought by Theo. Now the biggest thing here though is it works just like the checks do, which is if 3 or more people do it, it'll show a number and not their name, as well as, let's say Theo, completes this one or buys this one prize 16 times today. It'll still only show up once. That way it's not clogging up your class feed. You're only getting 1 notification per prize per day, which means it'll make it a lot easier for you to quickly glance, and then you can always go to the prize feed as well. The next biggest change is going to be when you're going to create any sort of variable question. So if I go to view one of my banks and add a question, when I go to the variable question, you'll notice it right away. When I click randomize answers, now you don't actually type in the equation directly. This is basically when you go to type in the equation, there's certain syntax and code that it uses that you have to learn in order to use it. This way, it makes it very easy and effective for you to use. You do still have to follow standard practices. So if you open a parenthesis, make sure there's enough closing parentheses, things like that. Otherwise, it will not work, and it'll actually crash the check. So when your students are taking it, it'll get to the question, and it won't work. So be very, very careful. There's going to be more updates to this soon. Basically, how it works is you add the stuff in normal here, but when you want to do your equation, let's say I want to do simple, x plus y, I just click the x button, the plus button, the y button, and then let's say I would like to multiply that by the square root of 2. I can go to the times button here, enter the square root there, and then I want to add a constant, which is 2. But as you can see, I did open a parenthesis, so I want to make sure to close it. And then that is a successful equation. And like normal, you go, what is x plus y times the square root? And you'd have to type that out, or square root of 2, however you'd like to do it. And then you just click the create question down here and move forward. So I'll finish that up. That leads me into the next change is under the banks. This is now not just the banks tab, but it's more the objectives tab. There is an objectives viewer down here. This allows you to see all of your objectives that you have. Now remember, the difference between objectives and banks is banks are a collection of questions, where an objective is just simply an objective, which means you can have an objective without it being a bank. So for example, I can delete testing 101 from a bank, which again will delete all of the questions within it, but it'll still be an objective down here. You can also now edit objectives, and that just simply changes the name of them, and it'll of course change the name of the bank. The final thing I'd like to go over that is new in this recent update of Tevatron, when you go to create a check, when you go to start, so this, I'm just going to name it testing 101 again, it now selects banks and not objectives, meaning I have only the banks that I have. So I'm going to use 1.1 mystery infection. And what it does is I can see now over here how many of the questions of the type per bank I have. So I have 17 multiple choice questions in this bank, 0 variable, and 0 short answer. Now if I go to, I can calculate the velocity of an object from a PT graph, I have 5 variable and no multiple choice. This gives you a criteria so you don't have that crashing problem when you create a check with too many multiple choice questions or too many variable questions. So it's just an easy way of seeing that. Other than that, that's been pretty much what I've been working on. There's another project that's going to be coming out very soon, so you should definitely be looking forward to that. It's going to be a project that will help you learn the ropes of Tevatron and make sure that you know everything that's going on. And then the last note I'd like to make is that there will be scheduled maintenance during kind of the Thanksgiving area. So basically what that means is that you're not going to be able to access the site. I'm going to be moving accounts around, doing various things, and I want to make sure that you know that, so you can't. So the dates for that are going to be the 17th to the 24th. So just plan that accordingly. Teachers, you should really be taking a break anyway. Being together with your family. I don't want you working on Tevatron, but I need some time to just make some big updates that I can't do while people are actively using the site, and I figured this would be a good time. There's also going to be a scheduled maintenance around December, kind of around New Year's, Christmas, so I'll let you know when that's going to be coming at you later. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.